All right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Gold, as you all know. And I welcome to Kokwe Radio and Television Station where they give a back-to-back as they happen. As the shell of our Obodo, Nigeria, still on this, the state emergency of our country, basically on River State crisis. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel before, try as much as possible to do so that if you hear some update, so they follow, they listen to Ameba where they drop every time, so that you yourself no go be like say you did for your country, you know they hear waiting the shell, you know they know waiting the suburb for your environment and for your country. All right, still, the senior advocate of Nigerian, Femi Falana, has also been interviewed on Channels TV regarding the River State crisis. Still say waiting the seller because recently we overheard that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has just intervened in the crisis of the River State on the issue of Wike versus Fubura. All right, let's listen quickly to what Femi Falana has to say on this note. In fact, he said categorically that the National Assemblies has lost their seat based on the misconduct of analysis in the State House. All right, let's listen carefully.
He's the real speaker. From the point of view of the law, what is your assessment, Ms. Falana?
I think the matter is already in court. I think a couple of days ago, the High Court sitting in Port Harcourt granted another of injunction restraining the 25 lawmakers from parading themselves, as members of the River State House of Assembly on the ground that they had decamped and thereby for now have forfeited their right to be legislators. I think what would be required of them is perhaps to go to the court and join issues. Before now, they were threatening impeachment. And of course, the government was likely to have challenged their local standard to begin impeachment proceedings since they are deemed in law to have lost their seats. Frankly speaking, I think they were not properly guided or advised. Because unless you can show or demonstrate that there is a division in a political party that sponsored your election, you cannot remain in any legislative house if you become, of course, to another party. Because the whole idea is that the Constitution set out to ban or prohibit political prostitution on the part of legislators in Nigeria. So as of today, there is a court order restraining the, I think 25 of them from parading themselves as legislators in that state, and the speaker from parading himself as the Speaker of the House. That is the law today. So I do hope that those who are affected by the order would like to urge the court to have another look at the case. However, it may be very difficult to persuade the court to allow them to remain in the legislative house unless they are prepared to go back to the people and have their mandate, renewed by the people. So that is the position of the law.
So, and the
Supreme Court has made this point clear in the case of Abegune and Labour Party. You cannot, on your own, decide that there is a division in a party. And it doesn't mean a division in a local government or in a state. It has to be a division down the line at the national level.
All right, at least that was not enough. Femi Falana continued in giving more analysis how the matter take dey serious and reasons where the matter take be like this, where make the River State of Fubara as the governor of River State look as if he's not working. Listen again.
To the government house. What do you make of this? Can the governor do that? Can the governor do that?
Frankly speaking, I would like to assume that the governor issued that executive order before the intervention of the High Court in River State. The House is independent of the executive. So with profound respect, the governor cannot tell the House where to sit. This was very clear in the case of, the Oyo State case, which led to the impeachment of Governor Ladoja, whereby, under the influence of the late Chief Lamidi Adedibu, the House was alleged to have sat in a hotel. And the Supreme Court made the point abundantly clear that an impeachment carried out in a hotel is alien to Section 188 of the Constitution. So, any sitting of the House outside the principle of the House of Assembly complex will not be known to law, will not be recognized by law.
But who determines,
Mr.
Falana, who determines the complex? Who designates the complex? Is that going to be by a statute or by the decision of the members themselves? Don't forget, there was a disaster that happened to the House of Assembly complex, which made them attempt to take away the venue to another venue, which is now up in the quarters. No, the governor, as the head of government, doesn't have the power to designate, because if he builds another complex today and sites it in Awada local government, for example, come according to in the eyes of the law, who determines what the venue of the sitting is?
So there is a House of Assembly complex in River State today. If there is going to be a sitting elsewhere, maybe because of renovation or some other problem, or if the House, assuming the House is flooded, the members of the legislature, the members of the House of Assembly, properly constituted, will have to decide where to carry out their constitutional duty. I mean, for instance, the House of Assembly cannot pass a resolution directing the executive where to hold meetings, or directing a court or the chief judge of the state where the judges should sit. So there is separation of powers under the Constitution, and each organ of the government must recognize its own powers and limitations. As it is today, unless there is evidence, maybe the House has become defective, and the House of Assembly will have to sit elsewhere, and the executive has information to that effect. The information will have to be passed to the House, properly constituted, to now decide, for the members to decide where to sit. But the position of the law is very clear on the sittings of the House, the proceedings of the House, where to hold the proceedings of the House. So in this case, I mean, just like you said, I think it's important for the gladiators in River State to appreciate the need to take up governance very seriously, settle their political scores, and allow governance to resume in.
All right, he went further in explaining more the issue of River State. But the point is, River State as a whole, Wike has been the genesis of this problem of River State. At least when you put somebody there as a representative, or somebody you trusted okay, this person can handle the state, then you must allow the person to work. At least give and make himself suburb or say, okay, make him take display on action as the suburb for the country. May the state himself and the people of Rivers State know, say, yes, indeed, they have a good governor. All right, let's listen again as Femi Falana explain more.
Rivers State. But there are those who say, oh, as a father, a political father, he wanted peace. Give us an understanding. Was the president legally wrong, but politically right? Is that the case?
I think the president intervened at the instance of Femi in Rivers State, involved in the crisis. It's not backed by any provision of the Constitution, mind you. It's an extra legal measure towards the restoration of law and order in that state. But if those who are involved turn around to say we are unable to comply with the resolution signed in the villa, of course there's nothing the president can do about that. The president can only wish them well. And since they have now taken their battle to the court of law, we just have to follow through and allow the law to take its course. That is what the rule of law is about under a democratic dispensation. There's no provision for any grandstanding outside the provisions of the law. And that point has to be made abundantly clear to all the people are involved in the crisis in Rivers State. That at the end of the day, the people must be at the center of governance. And you know, it's a bit difficult to really speak authoritatively on this now, because this battle is based on ideological differences. As was the case in the Second Republic, whereby, you had Governor Abubakar of Kano State and Falana Musa of Kaduna State, with who disagree fundamentally with the leadership of the PRP. It was based on the implementation of their program and the alliance between their leader and the MPN, the ruling party. He said, no, we're not going to have anything to do with MPN. We want to meet with our colleagues in the Progressive Governors Forum. The matter went to court. And the court said, the Lagos High Court said, yes, you can associate with your colleagues, but you are members of the political party. So you also have to appreciate the need to kowtow to the leadership of your party. Ultimately, both of them were fired by their party, and they had to contest under different political parties, in 1983. So but this one, it's not about ideology in terms of difference. There's not an ideological difference, So people of the same political camp must know how to resolve their crisis in a way that the provisions of the Constitution are made to apply. If you decamp, you cannot remain in the house. That is the law. It is very clear. If you are going to impeach a governor, you must also familiarize yourself with several cases. Governor Landoja's case, Governor Peter Obi's case, Nyako's case, and so on and so forth. So the law is very clear of Governor Dariye. How do you impeach a governor? You must be members of the House. Recognize. And if you have lost your seat, because impeachment is so important, it requires 2/3 majority of the entire state. So the Supreme Court made that point in Dariye's case. Now, if you are going to impeach the government, the House must be properly constituted. If there are vacancies, there must be fresh election. So you can't talk of the majority, that will not meet the 2/3 requirements of the Constitution.
All right, welcome back from that wonderful clip of Femi Falana explaining the reasons and the causes of River State problem. You see, the truth remains that Bola Ahmed intervening in the crisis. I believe this is the second time that Bola Ahmed is intervening in the crisis of River State, because personally, Wike and Fubura, we all know what happened recently. That Wike said he had made a mistake by bringing Fubura on board, but that he will correct it in a short while. Now we don't know if he's going to probe the governor of River State, which is the Fubura himself, or is this the pattern he wants to use by bringing Bola Ahmed Tinubu into the matter so that he can be well probed, or so that he can have so that Wike can have support in court? Because I don't know reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu has to interfere in the affair of the state. It is not a federal thing. I think it's a state which is supposed to remain within their jurisdiction. And if there must be settlement, they should be able to settle within their jurisdiction. So it's already passing a message to us, or me personally, that the step Bola Ahmed Tinubu took by intervening in their crisis is a signal that they are trying to suppress the power of Fubura, which peradventure the people of River State might not take it lightly. If the National Assemblies are not functioning, the governor has the right to probe them, to call them to order, because it is right, because it's a regime. Because if it doesn't function well, the state himself will not be in a good conduct. So I think that is my own point of view on this matter. So on top of this matter, I say make I just bring this Amebokon give for your ear and sharply. Let's make a turn now. See you when I give it again. Omani for washing. Omani for washing.